League Two continues to entertain. What a weekend. George, we're going to start in Milton Keynes. MK Dons 1, Accrington Stanley 2. Now, Aki are this week's Sky Bet surprise, the biggest priced winners across the entire EFL per Sky Bet. They won at MK Dons at a price of 6-1. Not just Sky Bet surprise winners of this weekend, George, but also the longest odds winners of the whole season so far. How have they done that?
By being better than MK Dons on the day. Like, that's the thing. Often with the Sky Bet surprise, you're going to see occasions where the team who win it are smash and grabby. It's the keeper's had a worldie and they've managed to score. In this case, Accrington just managed the game incredibly well and did to MK Dons and Paul Warren's side what I think you have to do in order to beat them, and that's basically stop them from getting anywhere near your goal and limit the supply to Liam Kelly in midfield, and to basically force them back and having stale possession away from goal, which is exactly what they do not want. Now, looking at the league table, it's interesting that this was a Sky Bet surprise because off the back of losing this game, MK Dons are 14th. It's more a reflection of the pre-season favouritism that they carried coming into the campaign, of the ridiculous spend that we saw them carry out over the course of the summer, albeit a lot of those players are injured. You know, when you've got MK Dons who are recruiting players from direct from the Championship consistently, players who thrived in the Championship in League One last season, come against an Accrington side who two of their players were recruited directly from Curzon Ashton. You've got players who are on loan from Everton and Burnley academies in their first loans. It's a massive mismatch in terms of the what these players have done in the past, and even age, where you look at the age of the Accrington players coming into this game, who are a lot of a teenager, a couple of players who are 20, 21 years old, up against seasoned pros, as you would expect from MK. And yet, Accrington were good value for their win. They have two players called Isaac, both of which are having magnificent starts to the season. And it was Isaac Sinclair with a really well-taken goal. One of these players signed from Curzon, who put them 1-0 up after 20 minutes or so. And when the equaliser came against Accrington, on watching it back, it never should have stood. But it was, again, the experience and the wiliness of MK Dons' squad that enabled it to come, because Callum Patterson quite clearly pushes one of the Accrington defenders into their keeper who's trying to claim the ball, and the ball is dropped and Gilby prods it home. The keeper doesn't see it and it's 1-1. And from that point on, with Accrington having done such a good job of limiting MK Dons to absolutely nothing, of stopping them from progressing into the final third, you think that, you know, the home team are probably going to turn the screw. But instead of that, it's the other Isaac Heath, who is on loan from Everton, who gets on the ball on the left-hand side. One of these mazy dribbles we've seen him do a few times this season, crossing the ball into Caton, who'd come off the bench, and Caton finishes really nicely in front of the defender to make it 2-1. And that's it. It was the two best moves of the game were Accrington's. Wright himself made one really good save from Mendes Lang, who cut in from the left-hand side and a shot and was tipped over the bar. Offord was sent off for a petulant challenge late on in the game. But there's no complaints here. Yes, it might have been a 6-1 winner, but on the balance of what we saw on the day, Accrington fully deserving of their win. MK have to improve if they're going to threaten for the top three, or maybe even for the top seven. But considering they hadn't won a league game this season, a win against Colchester at home, and then a 2-1 win away from home against MK Dons, two teams that we expect to be, albeit the points center doesn't show it yet, two of the better teams in the league. Accrington are putting a poor start to the season behind them.
Twice as many shots on target. It was Aki that hit the woodwork as well in this game. A fantastic away performance. And for MK, they will point to, again, having to play Aaron Nemain and Connor Lemonhay-Evans at fullback, neither of them natural in those positions. Offord getting sent off at the end means that he'll miss the next game, which is not ideal when you've barely got any fit centre-backs. I see that Maguire came off the bench, so he should be able to slot in. But they have to work something out, MK, because they don't look nearly as solid as they threatened to when they started the season, and certainly not that incredible going forward either. Work to do there. The team top of the league, Gillingham, on 21 points.
Ooh.
And now 21 league games unbeaten, setting a new all-time club record in the top four tiers. Literally, George, the most unbeatable Gillingham team there has ever been, and had to show a pretty strong constitution after a difficult first 10 minutes, shall we say.
I sat here a few weeks ago a couple of weeks ago and said, I would love to sit here and say that I think Gillingham are the real deal, but I'm just not quite there yet. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Like I think there's no question that the performances have kicked on in the last couple of weeks. And I think seeing a fit and firing Bradley Dack, kind of week on week improving, wearing the armband, if he is going to remain fit, is a huge thing. And there's an argument probably in terms of technical ability that he should be the best player in the whole league. And that was seen, especially in his opening goal, which was such a good finish. The ball falling to him from a set piece outside the box, and he just plants it into the bottom corner. It could have been much worse, this for Gillingham. Like, I'm not taking anything away, because I know that me and Gillingham fans have a difficult relationship, and I don't want it to sound like I am, but
I just want you to be honest. That's all I really care about.
Well, in that case, Apoku put Newport 1-0 up, and they had a penalty after 8 minutes, and the penalty was missed, but it fell back into the path of Antwi, and he effectively had 2 penalties, one of which was an open goal, and he managed to skew it wide. Obviously, Gillingham went on to score 3 goals, so maybe had they gone 2-0 down after 8 minutes, they still would have won the game. But for Newport, especially given they missed a penalty against MK Dons in the defeat a few weeks ago, it will be incredibly frustrating to keep missing penalties at key points within games that they end up going on to lose. But as I say, take nothing away from Gillingham here, who, I guess the quality of the finishing, especially from Dack's first, the Smith second goal, and then a blatant penalty as well from the Dack then dispatched.
Johnny Smith's done a lot of Johnny Smith goals in Johnny Smith's career, but this Johnny Smith
goal
might have been the most Johnny Smith goal of Johnny Smith's career.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And taken
the shape on it.
Yeah, very nice. It's as I say, certainly the Dack first goal and the Smith second long ranger into the top left. They're the product of having 2 very good players who played at a higher level, who are able to do those moments of quality. And from a defensive standpoint, where Gillingham have been so strong this season, they'll probably look at their first half performance against Newport and think we have to improve, and that's fine. This is a Newport side who are one of the worst teams in the league. But as you mentioned, the adoration that Ainsworth is feeling, the fact that this is a squad who clearly are playing well under him, and with them at the top of the league now, like they're building something. And maybe in the last couple of games, from an attacking perspective, had the head of Andrews become something they were overly reliant on, which wasn't even really used here for their attacking threat. So yeah, it's looking very, very good for Gillingham. Hopefully this isn't the moment that things turn. I would still say that you maybe want to see them be more relentless, but the points tally and the improvement week on week would suggest they're in a really good spot.
Notts County are, for sure. 4-0 winners at home to Crawley, with a record in their last 6 games of 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat, flying up the table after what was a slow start. They've scored 4 at home twice now, against Shrews and against Crawley. Not the sturdiest defensive sides, I think it's fair to say, but they did this without Matthew Dennis, who's been one of the leading attackers in League 2 so far, and that was not a problem for them. Scott Robertson had an early sighter from range, which went just wide, and then got it right the second time, finding the corner really nicely. Tyrese Hall is a Spurs loanee. The first I've seen of him here, scoring 2 really nicely taken goals off the bench, when you consider that they had George Abbott on loan from Spurs last season, who was one of the best loan signings in the whole EFL. You have to think that is probably a relationship that is fairly fruitful for Notts. And there's Alassane Jatta, who had a really, really bad 6 months, basically, from not moving away in January to a poor second half to the season, ending in a red card in the playoff semi-finals, a long suspension, and a lot of unhappiness, both from his side and from the other side around his staying or leaving. He is there now. He is playing. He is starting, and he's playing well. And he scored a nice goal here. Jaden Luca got 3 assists. He's on loan from Luton. Are they running a bit hot in terms of shot conversion? Yes, they are. Thanks for asking. Do they have lots of really good attacking players, which makes me feel a bit better about that than I might do with some other teams? Yeah, sure. Jody Jones, back playing left wing back. I feel pretty comfy there with him. Probably due a few more goal contributions in the near future. They've got the 7th best XG against, which is pretty solid defensively. And yeah, really good individuals. So I think a lot of credit to Martin Patterson, because based on the stuff around his appointment and the technical board and all that sort of stuff. I think people were expecting this to go really badly, and 6 wins in 8 is, or rather 4 wins in 6 is pretty damn good. So well done them. Salford are also going well. In fact, they moved into the top 3 here, George. Really, really entertaining game against Swindon, somewhat farcical due to the conditions, and eventually a 3-2 win for Salford.
Yeah. Blackburn, Salford, how many miles do you reckon?
21?
30. So not far, but it was similar in terms of the way that these games finished, albeit this one actually did finish on the Blackburn game, which was abandoned. Crazy game this. Salford hosting Swindon, former Oxford boss in charge of Salford against Swindon, but an Oxford-born boy in George Grant with the opening goal 4 minutes in, a beautifully taken goal. Daniel Udo, who's looked so sharp since coming in at Salford, winning the first header, the ball falling to Grant, who lobbed. It was kind of a bouncing ball over Conor Ripley in goal, and that was it was 2-0 shortly afterwards, with again Udo the provider for Kadeem Harris, who finished a 1-on-1, and then the rain came, and it was quite clear to see that Salford keeper Matthew Young blamed the rain for Salford's the goal that Salford conceded early in the second half. Aaron Drynen's header kind of hitting the turf in front of the goal. Young kind of dived up, like ready for the ball to bounce, and it just skidded under him. And he went over to it and kind of stood pointing at it. Couldn't really see what happened for the equaliser. It was just a crazy goalmouth scramble from a corner that was somehow diverted home by Knight LaBelle. And Swindon, had wrestled themselves back into the game, having, we should say, been absolutely dominated in the first half, but did incredibly well to come back into the game after Ian Holloway made a change at half time by bringing Tom Nichols on for Paul Glatzel. That, listening to Holloway's post-match interview, he credited that with being the main reason for the turnaround, despite a couple of set-piece goals being the reason they got back into it. But then he also said that taking the man out of midfield was the reason for the goal they conceded. And it was Callum Cisse with the winner, that it was again massively rain impacted, with a cross coming into the box, a shot on target from a header parried by Ripley. I think normal circumstances, normal conditions, the ball will roll away out to the Salford left wing, but instead it gets stuck in the turf, gets stuck in a puddle, and is there for Cisse to divert home, causing absolute pandemonium and forcing Salford above Swindon in the table. So, yeah, it feels like a significant win this for Salford and for Carl Robinson. Frustration for Ian Holloway and Swindon Town brings their really good run to an end. And yeah, I guess definitely in the first half, maybe a bit of a blueprint for how to play against Swindon, because Salford's pressing just basically Swindon couldn't really get out, and that kind of high energy performance seemed to really frustrate them in terms of how they're able to try and force what has been a very strong attacking play this season.
Salford's pressing, I hear you say. Screenshot in my notes, FOTMob's possession 1 final third per match stat for League 2. Salford City top, 4.7 per game. Next best Bromley, 4.0 per game. So yes, Robinson Salford doing a great job at the top of the pitch to disrupt and benefit from that. A Walsall 4, Tranmere 2, joyous afternoon at Walsall.
Walsall are back, baby.
Well, actually, mate, probably not one of their better performances.
Sorry.
In many ways. But the vibes were immaculate, and so is the finishing. In Evan Weir, they have, as has been discussed already this year, a Taylor Allen regen. You've never really seen recruitment like this. Bringing in Weir, giving him a year in the building, watching Taylor Allen get 20 goal contributions from left centre-back, then slotting straight into Allen's role when he was sold to Wickham. He scored his second direct free kick of the league season, and he just hits them so well. There's an amazing moment on these highlights where Weir hits his free kick, and sometimes near the cameras it could be an analyst of one of the teams, or it could be a media, like you're never quite sure who's there, but sometimes someone's sitting too close to the camera and you can hear them talking. You just hear this Scottish voice just after he hits it going, "It's in." And then it hits the net. Really good. Tranmere hit back through Davison, but then Weir went one better. Yes, You can hit a dead ball really nicely, mate. A stationary ball, you set it up just nice, you curl it into the corner. That's exciting, that's impressive. But what about when a cross from the right is headed away high up to the left-hand side of the box? Can you charge onto it and hit it first time on the half volley, true, hard, low into the corner? Yes, you can. 2-1 Walsall. Weir does it again. Then something we've seen a lot of recently is Daniel Carnu scoring for Walsall on loan from Charlton. They love a loney striker, and this one looks absolute class. What a brilliant take it was. An individual goal of high quality. And they scored a fourth on the counter-attack. Albert Adoma scoring and then miming walking with the Zimmer frame, and then after full time someone got him a walking stick, and then he did the celebration again but with a walking stick. As I say, he's a joyous human being, Albert Adoma, and this was a joyous afternoon for Walsall. Sadler in, I think it's fair to say.
I wonder if there's anyone who's still Sadler out who just can't get over what happened last season.
I think there definitely will be. I think they might not have said much this weekend, but I reckon there's a bit of mental gymnastics, but I reckon there'll be some people who are almost unhappy because they'll go, it's going to happen again though. Like we had this, we were good last season and then we were rubbish. So it's just setting us up for another heartbreak.
If you are a Walsall fan and you're not having the shenanigans and you want Sadler out still, please can you get in touch?
I'll tell you who else.
So we can have a scrap.
We should mention is their keeper, Miles Roberts, on loan from Watford. Highest save percentage in League Two so far this season. So Walsall, as George has told us many times, a very good team when it comes to suppressing opposition shots. And on top of that, they've got a keeper with the best save percentage in the league, which is a great combo. 2-3-0 wins coming up. Why don't you do Barnet 3, Grimsby 0 for me?
Welcome to the party, Barnet FC. Mm-hmm. Probably a good time to play Grimsby after they had some midweek cup exploits. I think this is the second consecutive game where they've won in the cup. One was against Manchester United, one against Sheffield Wednesday. And then I think they lost both of their games off the back of those, which is maybe not overly surprising. But I think even with that being the case, got to give Barnet massive credit here because they basically did to Grimsby what I don't think any other team has done to Grimsby this season, and that is play them off the park, really. By far the better team throughout the game, fully deserving of the goal when it came. Unlove had missed a couple of big chances in the first half before Offerbor scored with a goal that one of the longest range goals I've seen that I'm pretty sure comes off a stud. It's a cross to the back post from a corner. It's a miss-hit volley that bounces in front of him and loops over the keeper into the top right-hand corner. But don't you worry, because he put it right later on in the game where similarly a corner comes out to him on the edge of the box. The home fans cry, shoot, and he dispatches it beautifully in the top right-hand corner. Unlove scored a couple of minutes before that to make it 2-0. That was the 3-0 goal. Just against the Grimsby side, who we know have posted some really good attacking numbers this season. I think they topped the league by miles for box entries. But this time around, they couldn't really get near them. And, after a season last season where Barnet in the National League were so dominant at home, it was interesting to see that their wins and their good results, I think they'd won 3 consecutive away games coming to this one. And manager Dean Brennan had said, we need to sort out the home form effectively to go with this. And this was a sign of that. So it felt, you and I were very positive about their chances pre-season in the 1-24s. It felt like maybe we'd read that a bit wrong, possibly. But in their last 2 performances, beating Crewe 2-1 away from home, beating Grimsby the way they have here, they're trending very much in the right direction. And they are certainly a team I've got my eye on now again.
I've got my eye on Oldham.
Yeah.
The other team that have come up from the National League. Yeah. They beat Cheltenham by 3 goals to 0.
They play each other on Saturday.
Yes, a fixture that Kieran, Oldham fan on NTT20 Squad, calls the Vanarama Super Cup, which I really enjoy. That is going to be a huge one to watch this Saturday. They beat Cheltenham 3-0. It could barely have been easier for them. They completely dominated. They did pretty much whatever they wanted. They'd already hit the woodwork twice before they went ahead. One of them was Michael Mellon, again standing out with his sharpness at the top of the pitch. I think it's only a matter of time before he goes on a bit of a goal-scoring streak. The goals from Sutton, Hannant from the spot, and then Quigley, who's worked hard this season without much luck in front of goal. I think it's fair to say, and looked very pleased to have got himself a goal. So 3 wins in a row for Oldham. I'm looking at a team with the 3rd best XG against and the 3rd best XG for And I'm thinking that's a top 3 candidate, basically, that started this season a bit cold in front of goal, but has since bought a striker who should be one of the better players in the division. Pretty bloody exciting, if you ask me. Mike Flynn got sacked after this pretty swiftly. I saw a tweet like 2 minutes after full time from the local journo being like, the Cheltenham board are having a meeting. Now, somehow...
Do you reckon they came out for half time? Do you reckon after half time, they were like, let's just stay in here, lads.
Somehow Flynn was still put up in front of the media. It feels to me, and look, I don't know for sure, it feels to me like he knew that he was about to be sacked and then had his chance to talk to the media before he was. It's an unusual situation, and it provided some pretty strong quotes, including him calling his squad probably the worst group of players that I've had. And obviously that's an absurd thing for a manager to say in a press conference. Objectively, it probably is true, because Flynn has managed at this level consistently for the last 8 to 10 years across 4 different clubs.
Yeah.
And they probably are the worst group. I would agree with him. They probably are the worst group of players that he's had. They're a really bad side right now, the worst in the league. They've taken the fewest shots. They've had the second fewest shots on target. They have faced the second most shots. There's a big energy problem around Cheltenham, as I perceive it. But I think it's fixable. Mike Garlick is given a bit of, the semblance of freshness off the pitch, which I think was definitely needed. A new manager can add some freshness if they pick the right one and if they do the right things early on. Yes, it's not a great squad, but it's definitely not so bad that they are doomed regardless. Like, someone can definitely come in here and put the team in a good shape, well drilled out of possession. They've got some good players like Archer, and Hutchinson and Thomas when he's back from injury and Jude Boyd. There's still a chance here, and I'm not that surprised they've made the change. Harrogate beat Shrews 2-0.
They did.
Shrews fans nished very happy about this one after 1 or 2 semi-decent performances and results, back to square one.
Yeah, definitely concerned about Shrews at the moment. As you say, maybe a couple of green shoots in the last couple of weeks, but it still feels like they're quite a way off being any better than one of the poorer teams in the league. And as a club, given the hope about the takeover in the summer that hasn't yielded anything, I'm kind of, my concerns about Shrewsbury Town go beyond just poor performances. Really, it feels like a club that is on the decline, and maybe need things to improve on the pitch before they can improve off it. If that makes sense, rather than relying on the what they hoped would happen, which was they would be bought out and then things could improve off first. But Michael Appleton, clearly not performing the miracles that he's being tasked to perform. It's interesting. I've seen a few of their fans talking about, having a good squad, and I definitely accept that there are good players in the squad, but I'm not entirely sure that as an 11 or as a 18, including the substitutes, that it is a particularly good squad. For Harrogate here, they were pretty deserving of their win. Jack Muldoon scoring with 25 minutes or so to go, having had a couple of opportunities in the first half. There is no one better in League Two than Conor McElhaney to strike the ball in the bottom corner from 25 yards, as Michael Appleton well knows, because he used to do it for Oxford for him back in the day. So, yeah, Harrogate, it took them a while to get their nose in front, but this is the 3rd consecutive really good home performance from Harrogate. And, even though away from home, they look like a side that can really struggle on occasion. If they maintain this level of performance in their home games, they're going to be hard to beat them and should rack up a few points at home. But yeah, I mean, the story here, it has to be Shrewsbury, who that 3-1 away win at Barnet. Both teams' fortunes have changed massively since then, and they host MK Dons on Saturday, which feels like another big game.
Cambridge 2, Fleetwood 1. Fleetwood took the lead. Loose pass from Don Ball. Jordan Davis took it all the way to the hut. Carrying it, fired it hard and low into the corner. I think it's fair to say that one was against the run of play. Cambridge had dominated before and they dominated after. And Adam Mayer scored from the edge of the box, deflected in, touch of fortune about that one. The winner came, George, from Shane Lavery.
Truffle pig.
What do we call Shane Lavery?
Truffle pig.
Why do we call Shane Lavery Truffle pig?
Because he loves pigs. No, because he sniffs out goals like a truffle pig sniffs out truffles.
Yes, that is his super skill.
Ever seen the film Pig?
I haven't, and I won't.
We might have had this conversation before. It's quite weird. Nicolas Cage. Just it's his
adopts
relation.
a truffle pig.
Well, it's just his relationship with his truffle pig.
Is it a good relationship or complicated?
Both. Otherwise, very complicated, very good.
How complicated can a relationship with a truffle pig be? Would be.
Have you seen any Nicolas Cage films?
Oh yeah, he just got that expression on his face the whole time where he sort of looks really confused about something.
Yeah.
Normally, where's the treasure?
But why would he be confused if things aren't complicated?
Where's the treasure? And he's got a truffle pig that'll find it. Isn't it amazing? Even in different ways, every Nicolas Cage film is where's the treasure? Even Pig, even if not on the face of it.
Face Off?
Where's the treasure? Exactly. Hard to argue with this result. Cambridge 2, Fleetwood 1. I note that Cambridge have currently played 5 teams in the bottom half, 4 wins, 1 draw. They've played 4 teams in the top half, 1 win, 3 defeats. And I wonder if that slightly reflects where Cambridge are at the moment. Good-ish, better than bottom half teams, possibly not as good as some of the leading lights in the division. And Barrow 1, Crewe 0. This was a really big win for Barrow and for their manager, Andy Wing. They'd lost 3 in a row in the league before this, including 2 at home. There was some poorly thought through social media usage in the week, which led to some fairly unnecessary and quite tedious agginess between Wing and some Barrow fans. He's been sounding fairly near the end of his tether in recent interviews, but they got the win. And I think they deserved it. It was an impressive finish from Isaac Fletcher, who managed to sneak it through. I counted 7 Crewe bodies that he needed to get this ball through. There was one making a block diving in front of his feet. The keeper was rushing out as well. Then there was 4 players in a cluster between the keeper and the goal line, and one on the line as well. And Fletcher managed to get it through them all. Good win for Barrow. Now, no, not yet. Is it?
Not yet.
How old is he?
Don't know.
No, I was going to do a whole bit, but you've interrupted it, so I can't really do it now.
You can do it now.
So Fletcher scored the winner, George.
41.
Fletcher scored the winner. You know where the name Fletcher comes from, right? What was a Fletcher?
Gary Taylor.
Do you know what a Fletcher was?
No.
Someone that made arrows.
Okay.
An arrow maker. An arrowman. Speaking of arrows, not much is made of the fact that on Barrow's badge, right?
Yeah.
There's a bee riding on an arrow, and it's just because they're called Bee Arrow, but Barrow. There's a bee on an arrow, which is absolutely insane.
Are you sure that's why?
It's one of the least serious things I've ever seen on a football badge.
Are you sure that's why?
It's up there with the elephant on Coventry's badge.
Are you sure that's why?
That is what. Why else would there be a bee on an arrow for Barrow?
Well, it'd be
an astounding coincidence.
The insect of the area is a wasp.
Okay, so why is there a bee on the badge?
A wasp arrow.
It's just so unserious.
Yeah.
Like, right, so it's a bee and then the word arrow. What if we, right? If we stuck a bee on an arrow? It's absolutely insane.
Just are we sure?
But they've won 1-0 against Crewe, and I think it's fair to say that Crewe's season is best summed up as 4 good performances, followed by 5 bad performances, which is not ideal. Bromley drew 2-2 with Chesney. Michael Cheek with an incredibly impudent, or even cheeky, little lob to put them in front. Armando Dobra in the goals a bit more this season, scoring a nice one. Liam Mandeville sliding Chesterfield in front. It was a nice move. It put them in front. Could they win at Bromley where not many people win? No, they couldn't.
No.
Set piece, Dunkley own goal, 2-2. And finally, Colchester 1, Bristol Rovers 1. George, football's a simple sport. 22 people run around for 90 minutes, and in the end, Colchester draw 1-1.
How many times have you made that gag in the 10 years we've been doing the pod?
4?
More.
5.
At least twice a season, I reckon.
That's not as many times as Colchester have drawn 1-1.
Because your memory lasts about 6 months, so I think you forget every 6 months that you've done it.
It's a good gag. It's a good joke structure.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm excited about this Bristol Rovers striker, Fabrizio Caven, another really nicely taken goal, having scored his first league goal for the club last weekend. to put Bristol Rovers 1 up when, in truth, Colchester had by far the better of the first half. A couple of wasteful moments from Kyrese Lisby, who is very good at getting into good areas and has shown a decent ability or final delivery so far this season, but it wasn't really there on the day here. Jack Payne, though, is someone who's got very, very good final third delivery, and it was his assist for Mbik, a nice little ball inside to Mbik to finish, make it 1-1, and Colchester could have won it with Lisby down the right-hand side, who Mbik was kind of in the 6-yard box, and he got his square pass all wrong, kind of passed it behind him big. So more frustration for Colchester. They put in plenty good enough performances this season to have won games, but still it's only that 2-0 away win at Shrewsbury back in August. They're only 3 points of the season so far. I'm pretty sure it's going to come. I'm not, despite disappointing points tally to start the season, I'm not too worried about them yet.